Gostaria de fazer alguma pergunta?
So we start? Okay. Okay. So hi again. We got a house full here. So okay, I'm Mohammad Hussein, and this okay. So I'm Mohammad Hussein. I'm just undergrad student. I was GSoC student at Plone, mentored by Dylan and Jeff. So yeah, I give a brief introduction about me yesterday too, and okay, we can skip that joke. Okay, so the agenda for the meeting today, to the talk. Okay, so there are a few points which Dylan J, he's the CTO of the PretaGov. He's going to make. He unfortunately he couldn't attend to this talk, but he made a short video and he's going to cover the few points. And after that, I will go. I'm going to give you a live demo. Yeah, you heard it right, live demo, and then I will tell you how you can have a free hosting of your sites. And these can be SSGs, static site generations, and then we will talk more about what's next for Plone. So yeah, let's hope video works. Sound. Mm.
Hi everyone, welcome. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Awesome to be there with you guys and meet on sticks underneath mango trees.
Oh, sure. We will turn on it more.
Hi everyone, welcome. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. It would be awesome to be there with you guys enjoying meat on sticks underneath mango trees, but it wasn't possible this year. But what I thought I'd do is do a quick 10-minute introduction to Mohammed's awesome demo that he's going to give you. So let's get into it. So this is an interesting question, and definitions changed a little bit. So let's be very clear about what a headless CMS is. So the most important thing is that it is a separation of the editor and the theming front end. If those two things are combined, it is not a headless CMS. And what this really means is that your editing environment and your CMS is making less assumptions about the presentation layer. And that means that you can have a lot more freedom and you can make that presentation however you want it, in whichever technology you want it. So Headless Plone does exist. People have done it. Erico's done it. You take Next, Nux, Astro, Gatsby, and combine it with something like a Volto editor that's plain and unthemed. The difference is that the editing environment is not going to look like what the final render result is like. So headless, this, I think one of the things that is sort of tripping people up here is that headless has actually been around for quite a long time. But it's not seeming to make that much of an impact, right? But what we're seeing is that this has changed recently. And I want to talk a little bit about why. So there's lots of surveys you can look at that say lots of different data about how people are looking at it, and they're changing their technology and they're considering it, et cetera, et cetera. Some of them are by the vendors themselves. So like that's all really nice. But let's take a data-driven approach. So actually turns out we had that data. We had done a lead generation effort. We'd scraped the history of 9,000 UK non-profits of their CMS history. And I used that data in order to have a look and find out. It's maybe not representative of all markets, but I think it's a good representation of perhaps where Plone is used. And it's quite a good way of doing things because there aren't spam sites in that list, right? It comes from a government registry. We can do similar analysis if you like this, and we even do predictions based on a machine learning model that we made based on when people will upgrade their CMS. So the very first thing you can do is take that data and then work out, okay, so who has the top ranked CMS, right? It's not that useful to see that, right? But if you go a little bit deeper and you group those, you see some interesting trends. So open source is going down, and that's interesting. And in terms of market share percentage-wise, right, over time. In fact, everything is going down. The only two groupings here that are going up are headless and the site builders. Although, as you can see from the data, headless is actually a pretty small segment. It's about 2%. So if we look at open source, it would actually be a lot worse if it weren't for WordPress. Every other CMS is declining. And WordPress itself is kind of plateauing. It doesn't look like it's going to get past the 60% mark, at least for these UK nonprofits. If we look at that site builder market, so the site builder market is an interesting one in that, like, so this is a lot of SaaS companies. There are Squarespace, Wix, Webflow ones, you know, but in some industries, like in nonprofits, there's a whole bunch of niche ones as well that you may not know, things that do school websites, charity websites, church websites, etc. And these are all generally increasing quite a lot. So now what's interesting here is the headless market. This is increasing dramatically. And what you can see is that even though headless has been around a while, it hasn't really started gaining traction until about 2001. So it's really only the last few years. So this is going to start to increase its market share quite a bit. So why is that? So I think it's about the SaaSification of CMS. And what do I mean by that? So here's a quote from someone we know, someone who came to a Plone conference actually. So they had a Plone site, government Plone site for a long, long time, and they are switching to headless CMS. Why? Well, there are many reasons, but a big one was they just didn't want to deal with the maintenance and support anymore. And even if they get someone else to do it, it's still costly, right? SaaS is not necessarily cheap, but it's still cheaper and it gets updated quicker than maintaining it yourselves, particularly if you're doing something like a WordPress site and you have to patch it all the time, right? So security patches is a big one. The upgrades are expensive when you're combining your front end and the editor, because things on a Plone site and done upgrades on Plone sites knows how hard that is to justify to a customer. So site builders, you can think of them as, well, they're kind of like SaaS for less custom sites, right? You don't have as much customization capabilities. With AI, that's going to change a bit, so I can see this increasing even more. Whereas headless is not all SaaS, but is mostly SaaS, right? You can have open source headless, and we hope to make Plone one of those. But it's SaaS for more custom sites, right? When you've got more complicated sites, when you want to integrate other things. Another aspect, I think, is that the marketing is starting to work, right? So it's sort of taken 5 years for SaaS companies to convince developers to start using, or not just SaaS, but what I mean is headless SaaS companies to start using headless. And now agencies are starting to, they've created agencies, and those headless agencies are now starting to visit clients, right? And that's starting to filter through, and we're seeing it with our clients. And here's a big point, developers like headless. It is a better developer experience, right? So why do they like headless? Well, I mean, the slide gives it away a little bit. It's about freedom. I thought this quote, sums it up quite nicely, right? That, with the traditional CMS, you have to write templates in a technology CMS is written. It's kind of forcing the technology on you. You have to learn its way of doing things. It doesn't fit into your way of doing things, right? So to explain a little bit about this, there's a whole bunch of acronyms if you're not used to headless CMS and so on. So static site generation means you're going to pre-render the whole site. You're going to like crawl each page and turn it all into HTML, right? And so the point of going through these is actually to show that like these are all options that you can have when you go headless, right? You have a lot of options about how it's deployed. You can mix and match these per routes. You can have server-side rendering. You can have a hybrid where it loads. You can have all client-side rendering if you want. Hosting super cheap. A lot of systems will do server-side rendering or static site generation, then switch to a sort of a client-side rendering mode. I mean, Volto is basically SSR plus SSG, and that all these things are pros and cons about how you run your app. And the point is that you go headless, you get that flexibility. And now they've got even more esoteric ways of doing things with edge side rendering and partial implement. I can't even remember the acronyms, but anyway, you can optimize bundle size. You can make the site fast. You can do different pros and cons. So you can use what you already know. These are all reasons, perhaps. So these frameworks have a lot of nice features now, right? It's impossible for a framework like Volto to keep up with them, right? You can actually, there's this whole idea that, okay, so headless has to be more work. It doesn't have to be, because you have theme forest themes that are pre-done for you, right? And the CMS vendors have starter kits. So you're really in the same boat either way. It's easier to integrate other APIs and code. And this is an interesting point. It's more predictable. I think anyone who's done Plone for a while will realize if you don't know the framework particularly well, you can get tripped up by thinking it's out of the box. I don't have to do this part. Whereas in actual fact, you hit the limit of the framework, and then you're kind of screwed. You're spending more time working around the framework than you are trying to actually, if you just built the thing from scratch. So the library way of doing things versus a framework way of doing things where you plug in the CMS as opposed to build the CMS or customize down the CMS, I think is the better way to go, as long as that library is easy to implement, right? So headless has a weakness though, right? And this is an interesting quote from a tender that we looked at recently, where it's a government website where they did a headless implementation. They had a previous headless implementation, and it was done particularly badly, in all honesty. Like, it's not a good representation of headless. But the real other than other things like having no search, one of the big things that they complained about was the fact that the editing was not so nice. They couldn't see what it was going to look like when it was finally rendered. It used SSG, and that used the publishing pipeline that sometimes failed. Basically, it's a bad user editing experience. So this is what Strappy looks like. It's generally forms and fields and so on. So this tries to sum up what we're talking about here. We have a better developer experience for these headless CMSs. In particular, I think if it's open source, then your developer experience is better because you've got more flexibility, right? you have a good developer experience with the SaaS ones as well, right? You can just hand that over to the SaaS company and not worrying about hosting and support and maintenance. Whereas I think things like WordPress and Plone Volto have excellent editing experiences, right? So what about the sweet spot up here? Why can't we have both, right? So enter Visual Headless CMS, which is the solution to this problem. So here's Payload CMS, which is an open source CMS, and they haven't released it yet, but they have a visual editor that looks pretty good, suspiciously like a Volto experience, right? Here is Storyblock, which is a SaaS vendor, and you can click on the blocks, etc. Again, it looks a little like Volto, doesn't it? So what we have is we have this area up here called Visual Headless CMS, right? And we want to compete in this area. Plone should be competing in this area. This is where Plone should be looking for its future. So I had this idea, okay, so we could do this. It's kind of like a voltectomy. What are we going to do is we're going to remove the front end from Volto, right? So Volto is really this is a combination of a front end framework plus this editor, right? So we're going to move the front end part, and then we're going to replace it with an iframe and an iframe bridge, which is a clever technology on how Storyblock and these other companies do this. And then you end up with Volto-like editing, but with any front end you choose. So, and in particular, this whole process, we really sat down and tried to think about what is the easiest experience for that developer, the integrator. So when I say DX, I mean developer experience, and by that I mean integrator experience. What is the easiest way in which they can integrate it so it's pretty easy for them to build a front end and then plug in the Plone. So it had to be super simple, and so we had the idea of using this Google Summer of Code project to basically see if this was possible, right? And Mohammad did an awesome job, right? So we didn't know whether it would work. We knew it would work to some extent, but things like visual editing, like inline editing, we didn't know if that was possible, and he did it. So now I'm going to hand it over to Mohammad to give that demo. So thank you very much. Hope everyone enjoyed the conference. Enjoy.
So hi again, and I know I said short video, but so the real thing. Now let's dive into what. Wait. Yeah. So let's dive into the code or the demo part. Okay. So as I said, it's going to be a live demo. So hopefully we pray everything should work. So yeah, let me show you the, Okay, so this is what we worked upon. This is the repo, Volto Hydra. We started it as, okay, I can zoom in if you want. I don't know how it's not opening. Okay, so we started as a plugin. We used the cookie Plone to, start it as a front-end plugin. And so many of you guys might be familiar with it. So this is how its code structure look like. So first, let's start with the Next.js frontend. Okay, we will start a separate frontend. Okay, so it would be in next examples folder, and we can go into the Next.js, Hydra Next.js, and here it is. You can see it's a Next.js template. You can start with any create next app, and there are many. Okay, so I started with that, and then you can have a simple like this fetch content function. There's a basic function you provided an API path, you provide token. It's optional. We will come back to it, and then you will provide a path. And the API path is going to be, as we can see, if I have it, yeah, we have it. So you see, it's going to be our what I say, Plone backend. Okay. So let's scroll down. Okay, so this just simply fetch the contents from your Plone backend. Then we are in the Next.js, in Next.js, we use the app directory where we put everything. The routing goes as the folder structure. So here it is. Then we are just using that fetch content to fetch the content, and then we are using this block list. What's block list is just another Next.js component, and here it is. It's just a big switch statement, if and else. Okay, just we just wanted to tell you like how easy it is to to show the to make a face for the Volto for the Plone, and all the heavy lifting will be done by the Hydra, which is based on top of Volto. So yeah, so okay, let's start with our front end npm run npm run dev. Hopefully it will start on localhost 3. Let's open the incognito so that nothing goes wrong. And yeah, okay, I hope the backend is running. Yeah, this is the backend. Okay, I know I obviously run it before coming here so that it will not take our more time. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's here. It's just Next.js frontend fetching the data from the backend and showing it here. We all can see it's the default content. Okay, so now let's run the Hydra. Wait a second. Okay, we will just use p npm no p npm start, and it should start the Hydra. We'll wait for a second. I should have done it before. Okay, so we will come back to it, but let's just open it there. Yeah, okay. So this is Hydra. What it does I will tell you in a second. You just open it, you log into it. Okay, let's go. Oh, now it's localhost refused. Why? Because we haven't put the URL. So what we did is remove the block render, or hide the block render, and we put an iframe on top of it. You can see this familiar. You are familiar with this is Volto, right? But we removed the block render and put the iframe on top of it. So now you can bring your own front end with any framework and use the iframe to preview your front end. So how we do it? We go here, we go to preference, you can put in your iframe URL, you can select it, but it's not there. We can use the custom URL option. We can just HTTP. This is on localhost, I say 3002, and boom, it's here. So now you can preview it. You can do like this something. You can edit it. You go here. I can select get started. Okay, you go here, you try to change something, but it is not changing. Why? Because we haven't connected with Hydra. But if I save it, it will update. Like if I save it here, okay, if you see, it's now updated. Like wait a second, it's updated, right? It's the first stage. It's first stage. Like you have to go change and save, and then you reload the pages, and it will update. But we want, as we promised, we want what you see is what you get, editor types. So for that, simple steps. Okay, we again go to here. We will connect with our Hydra with this bridge. The main part of the Hydra is this. The whole this it will not be included when you deploy for the public. I will come back to it. What is that? But it's only included when you are in the Hydra. By Hydra I mean the admin UI. Okay, which is this. Okay, so yeah, we include this. Okay, copy paste, and then you can use the with Hydra. You initiated a bridge. You see, there is a bridge. You initiated, and then with that bridge, you come a hook. You can use that hook like on edit change. Wherever there is an edit, it will update. It will update your data. So we will just use it. It's a simple React code if you want to see. Okay, now let's save it. And now let's reload for the first time. Now, hopefully, if I click on it, it should bring. Now, you can do inline. You can select block. It will go through the bridge. It will go through the Plone, and then the sidebar will update. Now, if I edit from here, you can see it's updated on there. If I go here, I can select this. If I go here, if I click on it again, I can edit inline. I hope you guys can see it. It's visible, right? So okay, it's in line. That's what Hydra is. I know, guys. Yeah, UI is not that good, but it's still. I want you to keep in mind that this is just a POC. I just want you to tell you like this. Okay, so there is. You can add a new block like hit. You click on it. This goes to the Volto again through the bridge, and then it tells you to open up this block chooser component, and you choose a block. It's added. It's added. You choose a block, it add. So and it's small because of the UI. Obviously, is handled by the Next.js. It's nothing with the Hydra. Okay, so that's the one thing. Now we come to another part where how do we add an add-on? Like I want another block. I want to have another block. Like in this, if you attend the Alok and Nilesh talk, they introduce the weather block. What if I want that? It's easy. You can. So like if you see, you don't need this edit or view component because we have removed the front end part. So what you need is this just schema. You bring your schema, you copy it, and okay, we have to make it quick. Here, like I just put it on the source and component. It's okay. We'll show you. Okay, they are here. Your packages, this Volto Hydra, and the source. We got components. I put a weather component. Okay, this just schema. We just need what we need is just schema. We put it the schema and then index like config.config.js file. We just make Volto aware of this block. Here we did, and we introduce block schema, weather block schema. This that okay. Now amazing. Okay, so but why it's not here? I did it. It should be when I click on it, should be here. Why it is not? Okay, so because you can also edit the, you can also pass on the schema. This is what is the like as I said, you can tell which block should be allowed in this page. That's just the one thing. You can do many more things. You can pass on the block schema. You can tell this should happen from here, from the front end. You can pass on from the init this when you initialize the bridge, and then that will go to the Volto, and then it will do accordingly. So I will show you like I say allow the weather block. Thanks AI. Okay, so hopefully now if I click on it, we should see weather block, and it's not here. Okay, I have to reload it. Okay, so let's click on it, and yeah, it's there. Okay, again, if I click on it, why it's not here? Because we haven't updated in the front end part, right? We have it updated here in block list. I have to, I already told you it's a big else if. So we have to add one more else if for this block. Okay, I will do it. You go here, you go like this. I will go this and this. What we are doing is simple. If you are familiar with Volto, you are just checking the type. It's the weather, and then boom, you do that. And then if I let's do it again. Okay, let's go. And if I edit, it's not coming right now. Okay, I haven't saved it. Okay, so now why can't I click on it? Okay, I will have to move faster. Okay, so why can't click it? For that, like I can click on this block, why can't do that? How should I enable that? For that is very simple. What you do is just add the data attributes. Data, we named it like this, UID, and then you put it, you go here. Yeah. So now with just one data attribute, what it enables you is you can click on it. You do that, and now boom, you add. It's real-time update. It's there. Okay, you whatever. Okay, so I had already built a good component, so it will show you like bit nicer UI. It will show nicer. That's it. You go there. So that's how it happens. Okay, so I think that you can click on it, like you do this, you do this. Okay, like it's very simple. And we got many more things like you can add data block attributes and data attributes, and it will do more things. But I don't think we have time for doing all the demo. But yeah, you can check out our repo for that, and it will, you will explore, like, it got a readme. I know there's a lot to read, but yeah, it's there if you want to. So coming to the next part, I think I covered almost most majorly things, but now hosting for nothing, as the title says, how we do that. Okay, you got a Netlify build. Okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, so Netlify build gives you 6 hours for a month. It's a lot. I will tell you why it's a lot. Okay, so you get SPA, like server side rendering or client side rendering, front end, preview front end. Why we call that? We'll come back in a minute. Okay, so we get this, and obviously we need a Plone backend. It will cost you half a cent per hour, and we are using fly.io. Why? Again, come back 2 minutes. So we need Plone backend for images and all the content. Okay, now Headless CMS comes here. What we do is, like I just showed you, we initiated a bridge. We connected the front end with this Hydra. What it does is, like, it helps you. It connects. The Hydra connects with backend. It does just do things, and then it shows in the preview front end. It's updated in real time. Okay, now the editing works, but still not free. Now you get a collective webhook. Like, obviously you are familiar with it. So what it does, whenever there is update in the content, the backend, that hook pushes on the Netlify to pre-render, crawl all the images, and build a SSG front end. It's all build it up and gives you a static site after every time there is the update on the content. Now, okay, that's amazing, but still not free. All the things are running. So what happens? You access this myfreeblog.com site. It's there. It's fast. It's SSG. Then after 10 minutes, fly.io. If there is no changes, there is no update, it will suspend, and now everything is free. So you only pay when you edit. So again, to edit again, you go to Hydra, which is deployed. I will show you in last if you have time. So okay, then again the cycle goes on. It start again. So that's how it's free. Like, whenever you're editing. Okay, so yeah, it's already on. Okay, so this is the site. I know that I have a lot I'm short on time, but still the performance of the Nux, like this website, this is the Nux one. You see there are two one. This is one, the Hydra. I hope you can see, but sorry, this is the edit one, which is SPA, single page application, which updates on every, like, it's client rendering, but there is the one which is the SSG static site, and if you open it, it's the net is not working. Okay, so we are short on time. Okay, yeah, here it is. So this is the one with it got 100 performance score because it's fast, reliable. I know UI is not good, but we can work on that. Okay, let's move. Okay, so here is the bill. Dylan uploaded it, and he got $1 bill for a month. That's it. Yeah, so that's how it looks. Okay, hosting for nothing. No. Kabir's, yeah, it's for smaller sites with few edits, like blogs, my personal blog site. Okay, no search, obviously, yeah, it's not connected to backend. But if you want, user has to wait because the backend has to again boot up. It takes 1 second. We tried it, we proved it, but still, the users have to wait. So yeah, but listing works. No permission-based contents. Yeah, but you can if you we still have to work on that, but yeah, we have an idea about that. Okay, what I need custom. Yeah, this is the main part. I think this is the main part. I don't want to skip that, so we will talk about this. So how we can have the custom blocks, like complex blocks. So we thought for the containers. Still, it's well documented, well spelled out. If you check the documents, there is a issue. I forgot to mention the issue number here, but there's an issue where we have worked out the containers and accordion blocks, the slider, the form blocks. They can be, the block container inside a container. They can be can implement like that, and we have well spelled out documentation for that. Okay, so yeah, if I will skip that part because we are not short on time. Okay, now again this slider part. So you are familiar with sticky rule, right? In VS Code, everyone used it. We click on it, it scroll up to that. So we can have similar kind of thing in this slider block too. Like slider block, this is a container, right? It's a container. It's just a slide. Like it's happens here. Hydra will connect the site portal with your front end. That's just like how it did with the slate block, how it did with the image block, how it did with the video block. And then if you select the outer container, it will show you all the slides, and this is how it will happen. Okay, same thing for the table block. Okay, I think we are ending it. So how can I get involved? The Dylan, my mentor, he said like we can have a sprinting, but if anyone interested, then obviously the to-dos are like the issues we have is the visual content UI is well spelled out, but still we need manpower to do that. Then second is Slate integration, because if you try it out, like there's this, if you want to try, there is deployed hydra.petragov.com. You can try it out editing, just start editing, and you will see like the Slate integration is not good, but we have to work on that. Okay, and we still have 2 minutes. Thank you, and FAQs. Okay.
Are there any questions? None? Then a round of applause, please.
Okay.